So here goes. First, the type of God that was existing by himself in the beginning of time. He would be a solipsist. Solipsism is the belief that nothing outside your mind can be proven to exist. You know, they're the type of people who say, I am the only one really existing. Everyone else are just robots or part of my imagination. That's what God would be. Why? Because when he goes from being one, just one entity, by himself in a dark void or whatever, I assume it was dark if nothing else existed. Darkness did exist before everything, I guess, but then the first thing that poofs into existence must be part of his imagination. He can't just grab matter out of nothing. If he did, then he must be taking a piece of himself to create that new thing. Technically, there's no difference between poofing something into existence and imagining something into existence. So, how does that make him a non-god? Well, I think this scenario would be similar to a human in a dream, without a bunch of matter and energy to work with. God is technically just a human dreaming, when he's in a dark void by himself. In a dream, you start off in a dark void when you create stuff, or characters or whatever, when you fool yourself into thinking that they're all real, or that everyone has a mind of their own. Because even though you have infinite power in your dream, you limit yourself, because knowing that they're all fake, and knowing that you can do anything to these fake imaginary creatures would just be boring. Maybe it would be fun for a while, but eventually it would get pretty boring. That's why you don't sit and daydream all day. Maybe some of you idiots daydream half of the day, but even then you get bored. So that's pretty much the same thing God would have done. How could he fool himself into thinking all his imaginary creatures are anything more than worthless imaginations? By ungodding himself, or splitting himself into millions or billions of entities and forgetting that it ever happened. I guess we would call that theism, but well, it's similar to pantheism in a way, but in this scenario, God himself made it so that there is no God. So even if there was a God, there isn't, which brings me to the second part, or evidence if you wish. By the way, most type of theism try to prove that there was a God in the beginning of time, or whatever. But that doesn't mean there still is. Even if you could prove something has been forever, it doesn't mean it always will be. The same thing goes for the mind or the soul. Even if you could prove or believe that it has existed forever, it doesn't mean it will keep existing forever. But on to the second point, it has to do with definition. You see, nobody has defined what godlike means. How great must something be to be godlike? Does it just have to be better than the average human at everything? You might as well call me God then. Does it have to be 1,000 times greater than humans? Or millions? As far as evidence is concerned, there's nothing in existence that's 1,000 times greater than humans at everything. It's kind of like a disgrace to humanity to say that there is, because just calculate how pathetic that makes us. If there's something out there that's 1,000 times greater than humans, and it still can't do anything, it can't show its face or anything at all, anything cool at all, and we suck 1,000 times worse than that. And if there was some kind of alien entity out there that was 1,000 times more advanced than humans, then they could probably make us, or you idiots, think that they're God, could they not? That's the question for those of you who claim to feel God or whatever. What makes you believe something absurd like God, and not believe some crazy conspiracy theory that there are aliens out there who are 1,000 times more advanced than humans, and they can manipulate your feelings and thoughts to believe in some kind of theism, so that after death your soul will follow their bright light and become energy for their batteries or whatever. It could be anything. If you're willing to believe some crazy stuff, But there's no consensus for how great something has to be called a god. So yeah, you could call those aliens God, or you could call me God for being greater than you. Or what if you present some type of evidence and call it God? Like, look, there's God, he's kind of awesome, but what if he's not awesome enough for me? If some entity can create planets, but I say he must create good planets or evenly distributed planets, economically wise, or not evil planets or whatever, then who's right, you or me? So even if there is a God, there isn't. Where there's length, there's shortness and all that crap. So you might as well call me God. Or at least I can demonstrate stuff that's cooler than the average person no other God has tried. So just remember where you heard it. And when I walk outside now, I don't want to hear any more screaming from churches or theistic holidays or leaflets or anything like that. Bye.